That's what's awful about these situations is the threat is over, and then we start to learn more information. It's a sad situation when these things unfold. It reminds me of when we were at Appalachia, and the threat was over at Appalachia High School in Barrow County, and I'll never forget law enforcement walking out and saying that people had died in that. And that's the unfortunate reality of these active shooters situations, is that there's an initial urgency, there's an initial threat, and then more information starts to come out. And we will continue to get more information from law enforcement as they update us and as they get updates out there as well. But again, Atlanta News First Source is just telling us moments ago an officer is now dead after this active shooter situation at Emory University.